All right, fellas, if you guys are starting your traditional journey, you've never really done anything other than dabble with them or shoot them in 4-H camp, and now you're 35 years old and you're wanting to step up to the challenge, let me first tell you, welcome to the club. Welcome to one of the most fun things that you're going to do and one of the most challenging things that you're going to do. There's also a lot of information out there that will overload you on this. The first thing that you need to realize when it comes to traditional bows versus, say, a compound bow is we don't have let off. What you hold at full draw is what you hold. So if you're used to holding 6 to 12 pounds at full draw on a 65 to 75 pound compound, be ready, because a 40, 45 pound recurve or longbow is going to stress your shoulders. So don't overbow yourself. On a compound, you can pretty much tune the bow to the arrow. On a traditional bow, you pretty much tune the arrow to the bow. So there's a lot of questions to be asked and a lot of how-tos to be asked and a lot of things that you need to understand when you get into this. What is one of the big rages, or one of the big things, one of the most discussed topics as far as traditional bows goes? Bare shaft tuning. A lot of the old timers are like, oh no, I don't do that. I ain't never done that. There ain't no sense in that. You just get a good heavy arrow and a good heavy bow. Look at me. I'm an old timer. I've been bare shaft tuning since 98. So it's not something that's new, and it's not something that us old timers don't do as well. And I'm a huge advocate of bare shaft tuning. But if you're new to this and you're new to shooting traditional bows and you're just coming to this, humble yourself a little bit. Don't let me hurt your feelings when I say this, but you're not ready, okay? You're not ready to bare shaft tune. What you need to do is get on something like 3 Rivers Archery, any kind of dynamic spine calculator, punch in your information, let it pick you an arrow. If you're not sure how to do that, call them at 3 Rivers, and no, they're not a sponsor of mine or anything else. Lancaster can help you, 3 Rivers can help you, Custom King can help you, they can all help you. Call them, talk to them, discuss with them what you have, what kind of bow you have, and what you want to do with it, and what arrow do you need. So now, we just got into the what arrow do I need. So how do I know what arrow I need? The first thing we need to do is understand how bows are rated. For the majority manufactured bows, such as Bear and Black Hunters and so forth, are marked at 28 inches because it was like the industry standard. Like the industry standard for compounds is 30, the industry standard for longbows and recurve traditional bows is 28 inches. So I have a bow that's 45 pounds at 28 inches, but I draw 30. You're not shooting a 45 pound bow, so you don't need to be telling people I shoot a 45 pound bow. A great traditional bow will draw 2.5 pounds per inch as you draw it back. A good one will draw 3 pounds per inch. So if you draw 30 inches, your bow's marked 45 at 28, you're not shooting a 45 pound bow, you're shooting a 50. And that's gonna matter on your spine calculator, and it's also gonna matter on the spine of the arrow that you need. The same if you draw less than 28. If you draw 27, you're not shooting a 45 pound bow, you're shooting 42 to 43 pounds tops on this bow. So this is something to understand. A lot of people like to just go online on Facebook or whatever and ask questions. If you ask the question, you will get 100 comments and 100 answers. You're going to get 98 different answers. Some of them are right, some of them are wrong, but they're giving you their answers on what they choose and what works for them. And it doesn't really always work the same, but it can still get you close. I'm not telling you not to do that. What I'm telling you that is, if you go online and you go, what arrows do I need for a 40 pound bow? Your guess is as good as anybody that answers that. They need the rest of the information, because what arrow you need for a 40 pounds at 27, it's not the same arrow that you need for 40 pounds at 30, okay? These are 2 different animals. It's 2 different draw strokes, 2 different arrow lengths, 2 different power strokes. It's 2 different animals. So they need to know your poundage, they need to know your draw length. They also need to know your point weight that you want to shoot, because a 125 grain point is not gonna tune to the same shaft that a 200 or a 225 grain point will tune to, okay? They're not going to tune the same. So this is things that you need to know. Now, you're gonna have trouble, you're gonna be shooting, you're gonna have got this going on, got that going on, and then people are gonna hit you with things like, check your brace height, check your tiller, check this. And you're like, okay, I don't know what they're talking about. So let's go over a few things. This is a longbow. Let's go over the parts. Limbs, riser, grip, riser fades, back of the bow, belly of the bow. If you're going to use, while I'm here, if you're going to use a slide on or a limb mount quiver on any kind of 1-piece recurve, anything like that, even a 3-piece takedown, if you'll look, it's got a wedge in the limbs, which also has a fade. This fade right here where this thing disappears, okay? Do not get your slide on or your wraps past this fade. Once you pass this fade, you get into the working section of the limb. You don't want anything attached out here on the working section of your limb. So let's get it down past that. Now, back to the bow parts. Strike plate, shelf. Brace height is the distance from the shallowest part of your grip, right here, the deepest section of my grip, to my string. The bow's going to come with a recommended brace height, and it's going to be anywhere from a low measurement to a half to an inch above that measurement. So somewhere in them parameters is where the people that manufactured or built this bow thinks you should be shooting this bow. Higher, longer draw lengths, you're probably going to want to be closer to the lower end. Shorter draw lengths, you're probably going to want to be closer to the higher end. How do I know what my brace height is going to be? It's a personal thing. It's going to suit you. As your brace height is lower, your limbs are going to vibrate a little bit more. The bow's going to sound a little bit louder. You may get a little limb slap, a little rattle. You're not going to like it. As your brace height gets higher or longer, it's going to stress the limbs more. It's going to feel like the bow maybe stacks up. It's not drawing as smooth. All of a sudden, my 2.5 pound per inch bow just turned into a 4 pound per inch bow. It feels like it's hitting a wall back there. It induces a little panic in you when you're setting it full draw. And I don't know what to do about this. Lower your brace. You've got it too high. So a couple of things before we go any further, let's go ahead and discuss tillers. So there's 3 tillers: positive, even, negative. This is an ILF bow, so they're adjustable on an ILF bow, so that's the reason I picked up an ILF bow to show you this. Where's my tiller? What does it mean? Where's it measured? Tiller is measured right here, end of my riser, or on a long bow at the end of those riser fades that I showed you. It's measured right here to the string on the lower limb, right here to the string on the upper limb. Positive tiller. Positive tiller means the distance on the upper limb from here to the string is a larger measurement than it is on the lower limb. An even tiller, of course, means they're the same from each end. A negative tiller is the opposite of the positive. It is actually a larger measurement from the back, from the lower limb to the string is a bigger measurement than the top limb to the string. What difference does it make? Positive tiller normally suits a split shooter, split finger shooter, one finger above the arrow, a little bit better. It means that the top limb is a little bit weaker than the lower limb, and it just seems to suit them a little bit better. Even tiller is kind of go either way, but it's pretty easy to go for a 3-under shooter. 3-under shooters or gap shooters, it seems to suit them a lot better. Negative tiller seems to suit the barebow crowd a little bit better. Fixed crawls, string walkers seems to suit them a little bit better. Can I shoot a negative tiller split finger? Yes. Can I shoot barebow and string walker, use a fixed crawl with a positive tiller bow? Yes, by all means. You can shoot 3-under with a positive tiller. You can shoot split with an even tiller. The bow may have a little bit more noise. The bow might not sit or rest in your hand the way you would like it to sit and rest in your hand, but you can shoot them. It will work. So don't let the tiller scare you off of a bow. The number one thing that you need to focus on is getting a nock set, okay? The nock point is the important thing. And whether you use a bare shaft, paper tuning, slow motion video, or whatever, you need to find your personal nock, okay? Because you can't go and ask somebody, hey, what I shoot a black hunter, a 16-inch black hunter, what's my nock point supposed to be? Everybody's giving you their nock point. Your nock point is not the same as their nock point, okay? The amount of pressure each finger puts on the string, more on the middle, more on the top, etc., etc. How your hand sits on the grip, more push to the heel, or more in the web of the thumb and forefinger, etc., etc. These all affect your nock point. A micro diameter arrow versus an aluminum arrow, the diameters of the arrows, these affect your nock points. You can't just pick a nock point and decide this is what I need my nock to be set at and this is what I'm going to put it at. It doesn't work that way. You need to go ahead and find your nock point. As far as your spine of your arrow, yes, you will eventually need to find that. But right now, we're going to focus on that. We're going to focus on getting our nock point to where we can actually enjoy this and develop a shot. So, a couple things they'll tell you on your nock point. If your shelf starts wearing right here, if it goes down here and it starts just eating it off, your nock is too low. You may be a little stiff on your spine as well, but your nock is too low. Speaking of stiff spine, if you start getting a groove across your strike plate, this back section, you're too stiff, okay? The arrow is bouncing and pushing against the bow too hard. It's not flexing off the bow and getting clear arrow flight. But these are just a few things that you need to understand and need to know as far as when you start getting in this journey. You don't need to be trying to bare shaft tune when you first get into it, because you do not have a repeatable shot. This is what you need to do. You need to have fun. You need to enjoy this. You need to get an arrow that is close. And you can get an arrow that's close out of these dynamic spine calculators, and you can pick a mid-range of points. If it seems a little stiff, you can go up in your point weight. If it seems a little weak, you can go down in your point weight to get a little bit cleaner flight. But that nock point is going to give you the cleanest flight that you're going to get out of your arrows that the calculator has picked out for you. But develop a shot, develop your form, have fun, enjoy it before you get so perplexed, so confused that you want to throw your bow away because you started bare shaft tuning when you shouldn't. So just enjoy it. Welcome to the journey. If you have any questions, if I have the answers, I will gladly give them to you. If I don't, I will try to steer you in the right direction to where you can get them. Y'all stay safe. Let's go fling some arrows.